It's not that the Bureau of Land Management thinks that the desert tortoise is superior to all development and all land use, only the ones they like. See, they have their agenda. If it's for so-called green energy, then anything goes. Hey, your wind farms are killing endangered bird species and bats? No problem. It's a wind farm. Hey, you had an oil spill and you hurt a bird? We're shutting you down and fining you hundreds of thousands of dollars. See? See how it works? Oh, you want to farm this land? No. There's a snail darter. Oh, you want to put up a $5 billion solar panel energy farm? Sure, no problem. We'll move all these animals off your land, well, our land, and then we'll give you subsidies to do it. That's what ticks people off. That's what makes you say, you know what? Enough is enough. That's why you're getting the backlash. Because Americans are tired of it, and they're seeing this happen. I mean, you've seen, supposedly your private land is your private land. Go beyond the grazing of the federal land. Go to your own farm. I know farmers right here where I live that are told they can't even clean up an area of their property that is a little swampy because it's been declared a wetland. There are guys that have been in trouble for catching rainwater on their own property. I'm not making this stuff up. That's what gets people upset. Well, Harry Reid has spoken out. Let me hear cut 7 here. Harry Reid on the fact that the Bureau of Land Management backed down and said, all right, we don't want to get into any kind of crazy violence here, so we're backing away. Harry Reid says, well, for now.
Well, it's not over. We can't have an American people that violate the law and just walk away from it. So it's not over.
We can't have an American people that violate the law and we just walk away from it. No, but we can have illegal aliens who violate the law and we walk away, right? Right? Oh, that's okay. Because that's different. Sure, we're just going to walk away from that because don't you understand that they're just trying to survive, but we can't walk away from a rancher trying to survive. No. Then we get Ron Paul, cut 6, and he's talking about how sometimes we do a little too much with our federal power.
Governments don't give up their power easily, and they may well come back with a lot more force like they did at Waco with the Davidians. So I don't know which way it's going.
Mm-hmm. And that is where I think the federal government overreacted as well. The federal government is right on the law here that they have the right to tell this guy he has to pay grazing fees, and if he doesn't, we're going to remove your cattle. They have won in court. It is federal land. It was federal land before it even became the state of Nevada. Okay, fine. But the way they go about doing this with a couple hundred armed agents, with overkill, with intimidation, with setting up so-called free speech zones for protests, acting like they can corral people into certain areas where they can protest, shutting down an area in Nevada about half the size of New Hampshire. I mean, it's just overkill, and that's the other reason people are saying enough. Well, Tucker Carlson was on Fox News talking about this and says, conservatives need to think twice about supporting this family. Listen.
The Bundys don't have a legal case that I can see, to be totally honest about it. And this is public land. This is not land that they own. And if you're going to use public land for profit, you have to pay for it, and they haven't. And so the bottom line is, and this is something that I think conservatives ought to remember, if you want a ranch without any impediment at all, you have to buy your own ranch. That's the essence. That is the core principle behind private property, which undergirds conservatism. So I have a lot of sympathy for the Bundys. I think they're completely mistreated by the federal government. But I still think it's important to point out that this land does not belong to them. And that's not a minor distinction. It's the essence of private property. Sorry.
And Tucker Carlson is right about everything except the private property thing. He used to be right about private property, that if you want the government to leave you alone, then you've got to buy your own private property ranch. But that's not the truth anymore. Now they can still come on your private property and say, you know what, you've got desert tortoises on your private property, so therefore we're going to tell you what you can do on your private property. Hey, you've got a little swamp area in the back of your private property, therefore we can tell you what to do on your private property. Hey, you've got the snail darter. You've got look what they're doing in California with that minnow fish. They're destroying all the aquifers in California and releasing unbelievable amounts of water that they had saved up for the people's use because of this little minnow. So it doesn't matter whether it's private property or federal property, unless you're doing what the federal government wants you to do, and then none of that matters. All of this is why people are reacting the way they are.